Have you ever been so impacted by something that it leaves no doubt as to what helped shape you? Welcome to The Blind Impact, a podcast where we talk about and uncover those moments. Some funny, some sad, but it's not always tragic. I hope you'll stay for a while.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah,
All
okay. That wasn't
right.
long.
Yeah,
Uh,
that wasn't too bad, huh?
no, because I had my wife to finish it. I told you I'm not. I seen default. I didn't know. You
That
know.
is all right. That's all right.
Yeah,
Ricky, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I contemplated this a lot, and I appreciate you choosing me.
Oh yeah.
But for the most part, I'm great.
Yeah.
I'm great. Thank God for a new day.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
and
I want for you to give us a little bit of background about who Ricky is.
okay.
Anything like that. Yeah.
As of today, or when I was a child, because I was going to start. Well, let me give you a little synopsis of me
Yeah,
today.
this that's fine.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
want you just to tell us, just a little bit about not your story, but just a little bit of
Right.
a background of
Right.
you. Okay.
I was born 1960 and
Okay.
63 years old, and been through a lot in life. But at this time in my life, I'm living the greatest life. Working every day and supporting my family and just being a hard worker.
Mhm.
Um, I love working, so that's easy for me. Uh, I'm a care like person. I love caring for the person I love, and I love the Lord. So
Right.
I don't want to say religious. I say I'm a faith. I like to use the word faith
Mhm.
because God is not looking for religion. He's looking for a relationship personally.
Mhm.
Um, I believe in Jesus.
Right.
I'm not of no denomination. When I say that, I don't claim to be, but I do go to a Baptist church when
Okay.
I can,
Okay.
and and basically at work and back at home, getting ready to go back to work again. Not a
Uh-oh.
lot, really to say about my life right now, but that thank God that I'm still here and I'm able to do what I need to do to support my family and basically, that's me. It's not a whole lot about me when it comes to this.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's a lot about you. So we we definitely appreciate that. So do you want to just go ahead and jump into your to the story that you're telling today?
To know my life story, I have to start from the beginning. Um, um, when I was a kid, um, everything I say is true. So, you know, what I can remember from a kid, I would expose that. And I start off. I was raised on the east side in Los Angeles, California,
Okay.
and my mother had 10, uh, 10 kids. She had 13, but when I was living, she had 10 kids. So we all lived in the same house. And it was just my mom. She didn't have money or anything like that. So I can remember her getting the houses that was so beat up, before they was going to tear them down just to put a roof over our head. So I was raised in poverty. My brothers, I had five. I had five because I want all of them are deceased now except me. And I had four sisters. Two of my sisters are still living, and me. So that's three of us. Um, my household that I grew up in wasn't a household of just going to school, getting an education, and making some of your life. It was based on criminology. Um, a lot of stuff went on in my house. While I was a kid that I didn't understand, but I had to live with it because I was like 13 years younger than my brother next to me. I was 13 years younger, so I was really the kid of the family, seeing all this stuff going on. And like I say, one scenario that I like to talk about or bring up is when I experienced my brother getting killed on the front porch, his wife stabbing him in the heart and we right there, and me and my nephew, and we watching it, and it was kind of graphic because fact is, he died in the MLMs going to the hospital. And with that note, my mother, um, I'm growing up also to back that up a little bit. My brother that came home from prison, on the back porch while my sister was cutting carrots, never forget it. And I'm playing with a play rifle. He's cutting himself in the stomach, trying to commit suicide. And those areas, that's the way I grew up. I didn't grow up in so I experienced a lot of different stuff. I experienced another brother knocking another brother out, and my mother in the middle trying to stop him and stuff. And I have another brother that was on heroin that would come while my mother's cooking and try to jump through the window with the glass with the window closed. And that's the way I grew up, and I like to share that because that's a great part of my life. And then I'm a kid, so I don't know where I'm at psychologically because no one really thought that it would affect me, but it did affect me. And then 3 years later, after my oldest brother, the one that got stabbed on the front porch, passed, my mother passed, and I was 10 years old then. When that happened, my life was, it was, I mean, if I'm using the right term, it was distorted because that was my lifeline right there. And in the process of just being with my mom, I would never leave her because she would get depressed and try to put her face to the fire, and I would run to the kitchen and say, "No, mama, no, no, don't do that, don't do that," and turn the fire off because she was in a depressed state. So I was very, very, very protective when it came to my mother. She would invite men over, have a couple of drinks, and I'm a young kid, got her boyfriend or whatever, but you couldn't touch my mother because when you walk back out the house, I'm locking the door on you. She was telling me, "Go in the room, boy, go in the room," but I wouldn't go in the room because I was extremely protected by my mother. So back to what I was saying is when my mother passed, my life changed.
Yeah.
The things that I was doing, I wouldn't normally do. I would say I wouldn't normally do because they used to call me a little good boy because there was so much havoc going on in my household with my brothers and stuff, and so much crazy stuff that I would try to stray away from that and try to do good because of what my mother was going through with her kids, try to get good grades in schools and stuff like that. And but when she passed, it changed my life, and I went to stay with a sister, and it was actually it was too young. It was two of us, our younger. We was the youngest. My other sister went to stay with one of my sisters. I went to stay with my other sister, which her name is Lydia, and she had already had a family, so I felt like I was, you know, uh, not welcome, but I felt like I was intruding, if I could use that word,
Okay.
because she already had a family, and then here I come,
Mhm.
and so there again, I felt like I was outside. I felt, like I was just it was just me and not nobody else as a kid. So as that time went on, we moved to Carson City. Like I say, I'm from Los Angeles, and then we moved to Carson in California. And then when we moved to Carson in California, and I got up to age, I start working at an early age, and my uncle had a milk truck, and my brother-in-law. He helped my brother-in-law get a milk truck. So when I was out of school, I would work with these trucks and learn this business. And the reason why I say learn the business is because, and I'm gonna go forward to 19 years old, is because when my brother-in-law was coming home, he got robbed and he got killed and stuffed in his car. And my sister would come up to me and say, "What are we going to do?" And at that age, I'd already had experience on the truck. So at 19 years old, I'm not running my business, but I'm running her business. Getting up 3 o'clock in the morning and getting off at 6 o'clock in the evening, um, and not even buying nothing for the first year. No clothes, no shoes. Just getting up doing that every day so that she can keep her home because she had just purchased a home, and then that just happened. And by being her younger brother, I knew a little bit about the milk business. So that lasts for a year and a half before they took me off the truck because my nephew, like I said, a lot of gangsterism in the family. I had did
Mhm.
something to somebody and they came and they uh they tried to blow the truck up.
Oh
So
wow.
they took me off the truck and like again I went back to work and stuff like that, but in my lifetime I just want to say, if I go back to when I was in a boys home, um my problem is I couldn't make a decision on what I wanted to do. So I would go into the boys home and make house staff in 2 weeks, meaning I would run the whole boys home for the cleaning and the maintenance or whatever. But then on the other side, I would always deal with the worst person,
Okay.
somebody and I think that was that part of me growing up, but by seeing what my brothers and them did, and not understanding that you can either be this side or this, you can either be this way or this way. And I lived like that for a while. And I lost my house staff, went to juvenile hall and stuff like that because they thought I was a ring leader, but I wasn't a ring leader. But that was a confusing part of my life, is not being able to make a decision on what I wanted to do, knowing that I had the potential to do better. You know, so with that note, I'm running the milk business back to that, and like I say, that they took me out of that. Then of course I went to work and stuff like that. And then if I can jump up another notch, I went to the military. Matter of fact, I was in the military then. Went to the military, and then by me running the business, I stayed right there for a minute. I had to get out of the military with a hardship discharge, but I'd already had my career made up. I was going to be a police officer because my unit was all police officers. So being 18 years old, it's son, we're gonna make you a police officer. So I didn't, I'm young, so that never happened. So that was a detour. What I was in the reserve center, what I was training for, I never did. So of course I went to start working and a regular job, and then there here go again. I get caught up. When I get caught up and different stuff, I want drugs. Okay, drugs. Okay, I get caught up,
Mhm.
and I'm in the street and stuff, and I'm just in the street, and that lasted for 6 years. Um, be dealing with people, that I had gun pointed at my head. I'm in the wrong neighborhood, and they want to do something to me, and for some reason, all these areas of my life that wasn't beneficial for me, God blessed me to get out of them, because there was some rough times where I was inside places, and and they had Uzis and all that, and they told me, we won't, we'll kidnap you, and and stuff like that. I'm only in my 20s. All this happened in my 20s.
Mhm.
So I was in some areas where I know I wasn't supposed to be in, but because I was in that situation at that time, uh, I didn't really think about my life. I want to say that.
Mhm.
And then from there, I got tired, because I went from there, I went to robbing, hooked up with some more people. I told you, I get hooked up with some people, and then I'm not thinking, and then I'm caught up in this, and then I'm gonna push that forward. And then we was getting ready to go do a job, and it was supposed to be a 5-man job, and 3 people backed out. So me and the other person was going to do it anyway. And I knew at that time when I came downstairs, the car was stolen. It was a GTA. And when I came downstairs, the I had the gun in my hand and I stuffed it under the car. When I raised up, the sheriff was right there. Now, mind me, before that, we getting ready to go do the job, knowing I'm not gonna get out of this, because I'm once they push the button, the police come, and if any one of us fire, they finna fire back.
Mhm.
So by the sheriff being right there, he was so calm and collective. When I raised up, he said, "Whatever you do, don't lie." So I easily got out of the car, went over there and talked to him. He handcuffed me, put me in the car. Okay, right there, I knew that was the Lord, because it was just too. He didn't draw down on me. He didn't do nothing, even though that car was hot and I was running. I stuffed the gun, and when I come up, it just wasn't. He just didn't do anything, erratical, or he just said, "Come over there." So that was a time where I got incarcerated, and my life changed again. And at that time, I was 22 years old. And let me see, I was 28 years old. I'm sorry. I was 28 years old. And I got incarcerated, and they gave me 4 years. They gave me 4 years in Donovan prison. And when I went in there, it was like being reformed all over again. And I went in and I started on a rock crew, which wrecking rocks with snakes and scorpions, because I was in like a desert form situation. And I went in and I told the sergeant, I said, you can take me back to the lifer yard, because that's where I started from, because I'm not going to rake no rocks no more. And he said, what do you do? And I said, I did warehousing. I did warehousing. So the next day they got me into the warehousing, fortunately. And and that helped me out a lot in the warehouse. And you work a state, I mean, you work a department, or you work a department. I had the food department, and then a job came up for running the whole warehouse. We inmates, and we running it, and it paid only $36 a month. But fact is, it was something I wanted to do. So when I went into the food department and I seen how it was, we were sitting on pallets and stuff. Inmates come in, inmates go out, and leave or whatever. What was so ironic about it is the food was outdated, and everything was out of order. So, and matter of fact, Jay Murray, he's the free guy. He was over me. He was a state worker. Um, he didn't. He had just told me to go back there and get the orders ready and get them shipped out. But what I did was I went back there and I cleaned the whole place. I pulled all the beans down, checked all the everything, and then from a pallet, sitting on pallets, he brought me a desk in there. And then he said, we're going to keep inventory. We're going to do inventory. So he brought me books of inventory and stuff like that. So I really, got professional or personal with the place and stuff. And, used to put the orders together, and the trucker come pick them up. And he used to say, wow, man, he said, it used to take people 3 days to put these orders together. But I used to put them together in one day. So, I guess everyone liked it that. So fact is, uh, they treated me real well, and it was not like I was in prison. It was like I was, I don't have the right word for it, but I didn't seem like I was in detention or something where, I can't do anything. So by me being the manager of the whole warehouse, I was able to deal with the stationery department, the clothing department, which clothed all the inmates, and then of course the food department was three departments. So I had access to all that, and even the commissary people, when we go take a little money, go get our cookies or whatever, they used to take and sit boxes and stuff by my desk and stuff, and never had to really worry about food or anything. It was just real, by the grace of God. I have to give him all the credit. When I would come back in from the they had to check everybody, because when you go behind the gate they had to check you, but they wouldn't even check me. So I guess I just had that reputation, or they trusted me. And so make a long story short, back to Jay Murray, which was my supervisor. He said, I know what you're in here for. He said, but what you want to do when you get out? I said, I want some trucks. He said, okay, no problem. So um, by him having his own trucking company, and I'm not knowing, he would sneak me in a calculator. He would sneak me in freight bills and stuff. So he was training me how to run the trucking company while I was incarcerated. And then also what I would do is go to the library and get a bookkeeping book, and I would write the whole book. I wrote the whole book while I was in there because I just had time. So with those two going on, the other free people that, used to go home, and I just had to throw this in there, and they used to get them regular meals like greens and spaghetti and stuff. Well, they would bring that in to me while I'm incarcerated. So I didn't I didn't feel like I was incarcerated, but I was. So when Jay Murray brought all that in, he used to show me how to invest my money and all that. real, very, very, very nice person. And and God, I mean, he's resting in peace now because I tried to call him back and congratulate. I mean, thank him for what he did for my life. And they said he had passed, so that hit me real hard there. And from that point on, I got out, and when I got out, I went to a halfway house, and that was like 4 months before you were released. And I went
Yeah,
in
that's
there, I paroled, and went to a halfway house, and then I was over the halfway house, uh, actually in the kitchen, running the kitchen and stuff, and all that I was doing was I was a leadership in all of it. During the halfway house, I got released and I paroled to my sister house, and I sat down and tried to apply for a job, and they only had a century program for me. And but I wanted trucks because that's what I was studying in where I was, and
mm-hmm.
um, and I got a phone call and start working with a air freight outfit, and they had to let me go. And there was another trucking company that was looking for a driver, and got let go, but went to work the next day, and I was just standing up right there, ironically. And while they called him, he asked me if I can go work for somebody else. Went to work for them, and I learned the air freight business for 3 years. Now, mind me, I want trucks, and mind me, I didn't have no money, and I worked for these people and told them that I was going to start my own business, and I started my own business. Fact is, I didn't have no money, as I just said, so I had to use a budget truck, and I took a secured credit card, which is a credit card for $325, and the manager after budget place said you need at least 2,200 to rent a truck. But when I was in the office, oh, I'm sorry, you didn't get none of that.
Yeah, I get it. You're fine.
Okay,
You in
okay,
the office.
okay, okay. And being in the office, he had told me that what I needed, and I couldn't get a truck, but I didn't have no money. So someone on the phone, someone called, and he was talking to him on the phone, and he said they said no, know who it is today. They said give him the truck.
Oh.
So he gave me the truck, and you needed a truck. I had all my credentials and stuff, so I was ready to go. And the first day, I got one box with a bobtail, and took that box out and made a delivery. And then I start building my rapport with different brokers. And air freight business, dealing with air freight, I just say imports first. You picking the freight up from the airlines, and then the cargo stations, and then of course you're making a delivery the same day. It's a lot more to it because you're using rate charts, this, that, and the other, to go into the business. And then by me having that one customer and only having one box that day, from 300,000 to 700,000. I was growing the business. I grew the business to 1.5 just in 10 years. The first five, there was no money. There was a lot of, because of trucks. Let me back up a little bit. I did have a partner. The partner was kind of manipulating the money and stuff, so we didn't work out. So then I joined it with another partner, and the gentleman that was running the messenger business, because it's a paperwork side, it's a freight side, had got kind of backed up in his account, so they're getting it
Mm,
back.
mm,
That it was too far into debt because they wasn't keeping up with his bank account, so he had to back out. So that left me alone. It left me alone. It left me with $135,000 worth of debt. And I told him, I said, I can't go nowhere. I said, this is all I know. So I stayed for five. I mean, I managed the business for 5 years, getting rid of the debt in the business. And then I got one account. And the one account that I got from one account is a wearing apparel account, that dealt with different wearing apparels like Skechers and just,
okay.
uh, you know, and and I ran that. I mean, I ran that. That we're in Pale Division. I'm getting kind of sidetracked now. Stayed there for 5 years, and then I managed to get out of that. And what happened in the process is I got a new account, and the new account is what raised me from the 3 to the 7 to the 1.15 million, and then oh wow.
Yeah, just take
I
your
never
time.
did this before. I never did this before. This is
Well,
the
you're
first
doing
time.
great.
So,
You're
you
doing
know,
great.
I was for a minute, but in the process um, of the growth and stuff, I went through a lot in my trucking business. After the two partners had went their own way, and I bought out the second partner, which was a Filipino guy, was very nice people that work with me.
Mhm.
Um, I managed to make the business successful. Um, Offer no money. I have to say again, I got to take it back there with the $325 secure credit card. To that point, that's a 10-year span. I'm not going to go through all the scenarios I went in, but um, I was extremely successful. And then I got embezzled in my account by my bookkeeper, and
Mm.
that pushed me away. Um, and I couldn't restore the business because of the amount that she had took from me,
Mhm.
and I couldn't catch it at the time. But when I did catch it, she had already took a large sum of money from me. So I had a decision, and to either keep going and start over again, or just go ahead and get out and go back to work. And I went back to work, and today I'm in Texas, from California. It's been 9 years, and my life is great. I cut it off right there because there's a lot more to it, but
Wow. Well,
it's a lot.
I mean, I think you did amazing in being able to even recap and recount all of that, right? So you definitely don't need to feel any way other than you did a good job. And I want to ask you though, when you after you had realized that your money was gone, were you able to take any sort of like legal action against the bookkeeper?
Okay, so this is Washington Mutual at the time,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and then I was referred to a lawyer. When we had to now remember I'm a street person. No, I got to look college. So I didn't have friends. I guess when you trying to be successful, it's a lot of haters. They come up. I didn't know what haters was, or people not wanting you to succeed, wanting you to
Mm-hmm.
succeed. So I had a lot of them around me. And like I said, I was extremely to myself. So I didn't really deal with lawyers and stuff like that. So I got referred to a lawyer, but I didn't know that the lawyer had already set up, talk with the other lawyer, and they negotiate a payment to buy
Okay.
me out, to give me what they're gonna give me.
Mm.
And I didn't pursue it. I didn't pursue it. I pursued it that one time. He gave me a check. I walked away.
Okay.
But they didn't do anything to her because I called the sheriff department when she had came to work,
Mm.
and I tried to keep her there, and they was on her side. So I mean it was just a whole lot of negativity
Mm.
at that time, and nothing really happened.
My
And
goodness.
yeah, and I mean, she came in, like I say, I trusted her, she had
Mm.
worked for me, but at the same time, even my taxes, a couple of years later, I'm getting a tax note in the mail saying that I owe 25,000, you know.
Oh.
Yeah, it was her motive wasn't to help me; it was to destroy me, you know. And even when the full one, when we had the YK2 or YK,
Y2K.
yeah, back then, she was charging me for my computer and did nothing happen, and she,
Mm.
re-rigged my computer up, to try to bring it up to par. But then here I'm giving her $700 just, and stuff
Mhm.
like that. There's a lot of people. If since you said that, if I, when you hire close people in your business, you're not knowing, but they tearing you down.
Mhm.
I had death threats, and I
Wow.
had, yeah, I had all kind of, you ain't gonna pay my car note. Yeah, to kill you, stuff like that. That's the stuff I
Wow.
wasn't sharing with you. I went through a lot. The successful
Yeah.
part about the business is I sustained for 10 years, and my customers love my service. And that's what all I was about, and about serving. So, uh, nothing really happened to her, if I could regain that thought, um, and it made me kind of, like, I don't want to go to work. I don't want to run the business no more,
Sure. Yeah.
and, I can always do it again. I have the knowledge, and, I think I have enough leadership trait in me to be able to run whatever I want to run, because I've been doing it ever since I was a kid. I just couldn't make my mind up on what I wanted to do and who I
Mhm.
wanted to hang around, and I had no peers. I had no peers to, So, yeah, But thank you very much for this interview. If I wouldn't have got this out, I got it out, and uh, I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Any
Well,
more questions?
I appreciate you doing. I do have another question. Would you be
Mhm.
interested in a second interview? Because I've got a lot. I know
Well,
you have it so jam packed, but there's some stuff that I would like for us to be able to kind of just really just expound on. And it's totally up to you. You just let me know whenever you're available, if you choose. But I feel like an even greater story within this story here.
but you're gonna have to help me.
Oh, I will. I absolutely will. I absolutely will. And I feel like today an amazing warm up.
Right.
I feel like there's so much that you want to say, and I know without a doubt we'll be able to get it talked through. And I'd like to invite you on again, and if it's up to you,
Yeah,
if you
I don't. Yeah, I don't have a problem. Like I said, it's the first time for me, so I don't know.
no, you did great.
Sharing how I'm doing.
you
I got
you
kind of baffled. Got caught. Because I'm rolling. But yeah, I left a lot out. A
okay.
whole lot out.
Okay. All right. So that means that
Because
we
you can't.
definitely have to come
Yeah.
back.
Okay. Well, we come back and you can sharpen it up.
Yo, yeah. Yeah, this
um,
is no,
yeah.
I appreciate it. And I
Yeah.
guess one more question though before we go. Do you think that there's anything about any of your childhood experiences that you would have changed?
Heck yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
starting off as a kid. I mean, just getting my money taken on the corner by one guy, and walking to school. I'm in the second grade there in the sixth, and another kid. I'm sorry, and another kid busting bottles on me, and I'm going to school in blood. Now
Mm,
I didn't even bring that up. Yeah, and I
okay.
had to
We'll
go to
talk about
school and
that.
fight. Yeah, I had to go
Okay.
to school and fight somebody that age in order for them to stop doing it. Yeah, I went through a lot.
Wow.
Just growing up, running in the house, and you going home, and it's 20 police cars because my brother then, when the watch riot that come, I didn't even go to that. He got a whole department store at my mama's house, and
Mm,
mommy, my mother, she was a maid. She went clean up for the rich people in Beverly Hills and come
hmm.
home, and then my sister took care of us.
Okay.
It's a
Oh,
whole
you
lot.
have so many. You got a lot. So we're gonna dig into it, and I
Okay,
know
okay. That's
okay.
perfect. And I just want to say this before we get off the phone. The best thing about this, no, it's two things. The one thing, you stopped me, you approached me, and I wasn't afraid to get
Mm-hmm.
on your podcast. And
Hmm.
two, the how my life is today,
Yeah.
from what I went through, how I, you know, I'm still
Yeah.
here.
You
No,
are. You are,
yeah.
and stronger than
So
ever. I can imagine.
yeah,
I can
yeah. So
imagine.
thank you, Thank you
No,
very much.
thank you.
Okay.
Absolutely,
Okay.
thank you. Hey guys, this has
All
been
right.
the Blind Impact. Today's guest has been Ricky, and Ricky, I definitely look forward to talking to you again, and
Okay.
can't wait to see what's going to come of your story. So, but we
Okay.
definitely will talk again soon. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very
Alrighty.
much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of The Blind Impact. If you like the show, please rate, subscribe, review, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. If you have a story you'd like to tell, please email me at theblindImpact@gmail.com. Or if you have a story you'd like to have read here by me, please include those details in the email or the voice message. Thank y'all, and remember, it's not always tragic.